You keep living.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Until you don't know what happens from there. It's not for you to say that at this time I'm not doing. In my scheme of things, I don't even think of that end. I keep walking, I keep walking, I keep walking, I keep walking.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the African Renaissance series, where we have timeless conversations with African leaders to identify the lessons from their past, the present, to inform the future generations and future African leaders for 30 years and above, 30 to 50 years. Today, we have the incredible honor to be joined by a master craftsman, master artist, someone who has been a pace setter in the African modernism, by the name, the great Dr. Bruce Onobrakpeya. Sir, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for inviting us to the Harmattan workshop.
Thank you very much. Very much.
I'll just quickly get into it.
Yes,
so, throughout your career, which is over 7 decades, you have gone from painting to printmaking to sculpture and back to painting. I'm curious on your inspiration across all of them and why you never stayed in one particular field. And then I know you also have mentioned in the public sphere that printmaking is the genesis to everything. Is the one that leads to all the innovation.
Oh, thank you very much. I want to say that having trained, having been born with a background of art, Robo people are very artistic. I grew up in Benin with a high art. I also grew up in Roboland to Saple, Ugeli, Agbaroto, and so on. I found it natural to imbibe the culture of the region. My father was an artist, He was a farmer, but he practiced art during his leisure time. And so I have art in my blood, and by growing up and through training in secondary school and so on, and later in the College of Technology and so on, I imbibed art, and I have been growing. And the way I grow is to follow lines of my inspiration. I follow my mind, and something happened, and then I want to investigate. And then that investigation will take me for a few years. Before that investigation dies down, something else has come, and then I will pursue it again. So, and those kind of pursuits, they don't just leave me with one area. It moves me from one area to the other. And so, as long as I live, and as long as I observe, and as long as I communicate with people and so on, there will always be new ideas. And the real meaning of that is that I like to remain contemporary rather than temporary. Because if you are a temporary, then you become known for one generation. And in the next generation, you are not seen again, you are not noticed again. But as a contemporary person, you imbibe the ideals and the idea of a particular generation, and the other generation comes in, and you also can make statement about it. So you continue to be a contemporary. So my strive, my job, and this has always been to try to become a contemporary, and that has led me to several investigations, several experiments, move from one artistic technique to the other, and from one theme to the other, and that's what keeps me going. And I think that as long as I live, there will always be ideas, new inspiration that will help me to create new things. Let me stop here.
No, that was amazing. Maybe the quick follow-up question is, what is the significance of printmaking? I know you have said it's foundational to the other ideas, the other innovation. Why is printmaking so foundational?
Well, printmaking is foundational because it is very scientific, and in life, everything actually built around printmaking. In the art school, the department, the various artistic departments also build around the art school.
Yeah.
You know, you have the other departments, sculpture, painting, that ceramic and so on, going around, and then in the center is a printmaker. And every one of those people study print. Study print because it's basic. The print gives you drawing, gives you some technique and so on and so forth. And so it makes you experiment. And experiment is very scientific. And when you experiment, you discover new things and so on and so on. So that is printmaking. But above all, printmaking is very democratic. The idea of print is to create a plate with which you can make several similar pictures.
Yeah.
So instead of creating one picture that can now go to the hand of a very rich man, now you make a plate that now can produce multiple, that can reach a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people at
Different times.
at reduced price.
Yeah.
In other words, your work is become affordable and
Accessible.
can reach a child, can reach a rich person, can reach anyone at all, and so that is it. So we are in the world of democracy.
Yeah.
So printmaking is very democratic and very experimental, and through it you can actually exploit the other areas of art and move forward in them. Let me stop here.
Okay, thank you very much. My follow-up question was around you being innovative and building off printmaking, the famous accidents that led to the formation of plastography, where you were meant to treat with nitric acid and use hydrochloric acid, and then you on the plates, and how you went to see your friend, and then you discovered the glues that he used, and used that, and that came up with a new design. So I was just curious if you could talk more about that example and how you seem to be quite innovative. Where that innovation comes from? Just using that example.
Well, that is a copious one. I call that developing my early development and experience in printmaking has been as a kind of baptism in the acid bath. That's what I call it. I left art school as I specialized in painting. But the professor there wanted me to do graphic, which was really printmaking. But at that time, we do not have printmaking as a subject in Nigeria. We didn't know about printmaking as anything that can lead you forward anywhere. The graphic that was done then was used for newspaper illustration. You could be a cartoonist and you could illustrate and bring pictures in the paper that would advertise goods and so on. But that never interested me. So anyway, while at Sadia, I experimented. I did something of printmaking and so on. But my real adventure in printmaking came after I left Zadia. There used to be someone called Onobrakpeya, who and his wife, Wenger. Wenger is a painter, so they were at Oshobo there, and so they had this art. They had a flair for art, and then they put the people together, and they were creating informal art workshops. And so they invited me to attend that workshop. That was where I discovered that my real line of work was in printmaking. A Dutch artist, a Dutch professor, Roel van Rossum, came in and put me through the rudiment of printmaking. Now, I came back to Lagos where I was teaching at a particular time and gathered money to buy a press from Holland, buy other materials and so on. But that took 3 years, and during which time I had forgotten the name of the chemicals that were used to produce the etching and all of that. But I went to the shop, bought acid, bought this, bought that. But instead of buying the nitric acid, I bought the hydrochloric acid and used it to bite my plate. But the hydrochloric acid does not behave like nitric acid. So it created wrong gauges and so on and so forth. Uh, out of frustration, I put it aside. But at that time, I visited a friend who was in Lagos, younger friend, and he was creating Oloku figure to represent the Olokun goddess.
Yeah.
And then he made a tall tree like that and got discarded money from the central bank and was gluing them to the body of the tree. And then what he did was to use a kind of glue to put them together. So I visited him one day, and he told me that the chemical to put the glue together to the wood is such a very powerful, newly discovered chemical that is even used for the part of plate and so on and so forth. I said, at that time it was sold in UTC. UTC was in Broad Street. So the following day, I bought a bit of it. Out of frustration, I just brought out the ruined plate.
Yeah.
The ruined plate, and then begin to gum places and so on. And then I printed. Behold, the drips from that chemical, from that glue in places, created some sculptural art forms that led me to what I describe as the type of printing that I
Plastography.
make, the plastography. That led me to plastography. So that is the origin of the baptism in Dante's bath, or the result of the accident, which led to a very different and copious lead to my venture into the printmaking wide field. So that's it.
That's incredible.
Right.
And just a tiny follow-up question from that.
Yeah.
I'm curious how you seem to have always been innovative.
Yes.
And just even when you talked of trying different things, where does that spirit of innovation come from?
I don't. It's a kind of restlessness which I have discovered in me while growing up. My mother, a kind of midwife, she didn't go to school, but she helped to deliver young women, deliver children, and take care of them. And she had a shrine, the local shrine and so on. And she had different things there, and I would go there. Sometimes there's money there to go to school and take some money there and buy whatever I want to buy. But there are other things there, and she had baskets with all kind of craft and all kinds of. I bring them out, play with them, look at them, get them to just play, and at the time I move away, she will come and pack them together and put them away. But that's not the only one. As a grown-up person, we didn't have the kind of toys which the people nowadays have. We young people had to make our own toys, musical instruments from palm trees and so on, and you could use them. And then we made what looked like, we call them motorcycles. We cut the tree and have tires here, have them create a hole there, get a fork of a tree like that, and then a wood like that, put it there, and begin to move it, and there's noise about it as well. So that freedom that I had in the boyhood time to explore the forest, to use my hand and a group of us to create things that gave us pleasure, and listening to folk tales, folklore, and all this from our parents and all that. I think all those came together
Yeah.
to give me the restless spirit, which led to the research, which led to moving from one aspect of print to the other.
Thank you, sir. That's incredible. Okay, so this next one is more of around your legacy and future vision.
Yes.
You once said, I want people to realize that I've passed through this path
Yes.
and that what has been left behind is something to make other people come in their passing better.
Yes.
What specific path do you hope young African artists will follow that you have illuminated?
Well, that's where you are in now. You know, we create this place here. I could have put it somewhere in a big town where it will fetch me a lot of money. But I tucked it away here and then put situations in that will make the young people come here and learn and grow. And so, by growing, they will come out to realize the importance of culture, the importance of art, in developing our identity, developing our economic and so on, and then to move the area forward and make it gain respect in the community of nations. That is what I'm doing.
Okay.
This place here has witnessed the coming in of people from all over Africa, from Asia, from Europe, from the Americas, and when they come, they're not only professors or just teachers or people who have a lot of money can travel. Children, school-going people, university people, and all that, they all come there. And then the result of what we have here, they put into books, and these books are printed, and they circulate and travel around the world. And then, of course, nowadays you have things like the video, you have the camera. So the pictures and the doings here and all that, even as we are talking here, you'll be surprised tomorrow to know that your interview is being rehearsed by other people, you know, and so on. So those are the things we're doing to perpetuate our belief in creating this present, in making this present generation create identity and create something that will make them grow confidently into the future.
Okay, so this Onobrakpeya Art Center and the Hamatan Workshop is really as an engine for creativity for the young all over the world, different interests.
Young, grown-up, teachers, professors, and the people in the community. That's what this place is for. It's an informal education setup, but now somebody has just told me that it's more than informal, because when we're here, we don't just get people who are other students or people from the community who never went to school. We now have professors. We have scholars, not only Nigerians, but the scholars and all this international. They all come here. So we have gone beyond just being just working and informal. We are also formal. Informal stroke, formal education setup. That's what we are in here.
Okay, thank you. And this has been going on for over 25 years.
Yes, we started building this very building. Was started in 1990, and we built over the period of 8 years. While this building was still on, it hasn't been completed yet. We started the Hamatan Workshop in 1938, and we've been growing from that time to this time. Altogether, we have had, this is actually the 27th year.
Wow.
That is to say, we have had 27
cohorts.
Yes, 27 sets of years of practice. Each time we have two, sometimes three sessions. We start in February and end up in August and so on. So this is our 27th year.
Wow.
That will be here.
Okay. Then maybe more specifically on the future vision or legacy. In 30 years' time, when a young African artist discovers your incredible work,
Yes.
what single message or principle do you hope for them to take from your 7 decades of your journey?
Well, it's very, very simple. It's very, very simple. What they have learned from this place, they should add to it and pass this over to the next generation. They should prepare the next generation to have more understanding than themselves. Like, I hope that what we're doing now, we create more understanding for them, than we had, because they have us and so on. They have more opportunities.
Yeah.
We didn't have this kind of opportunities.
Yeah.
When in our time, we're fortunate to have just a few people before us, but they did not create this kind of institution. Yeah, but a few of us now are creating this type of institution, which try to take care of the younger people.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, younger people. What we get that was an advantage was that by attending the Zaria College of Technology,
Yeah.
has given me the feeling that you have to develop a place that can actually make the young people grow.
Yeah.
So that is it, and we're doing that, and we hope that they will copy from that and do better than we have done in future. So that is the hope that I wish for them, that they would create a place where they will now be able to pass the genius, the understanding, create confidence, and move forward. Whoever is in within this
Ecosystem.
yeah, ecosystem will grow to have respect
Yeah.
in the global setup.
Yeah. So I think that was incredible. I think my takeaway from that was learn from everything you have done and all those that have come before them,
Yeah.
build on top of it, and then have global
project,
self-respect,
yes,
self-identity,
and
and project
project
it for the next.
Yes.
Okay, just because you mentioned Zaria, I need to ask about it. The famous Zaria Art Society,
Yes.
Which was when you studied at now called
Ahmadu
Ahmadu
Bello
Bello University,
yes.
and how you and your contemporaries were being taught a certain way by foreign or British artists who were your teachers.
Yeah.
But then you discovered that the folklore of Nigeria was rich, but your teachers wanted to remain academic.
Yeah.
How did you and your colleagues convince yourself that breaking from European artistic tradition was not really rebellion, but was necessary for African artistic authenticity?
Okay, fine. Now Nigerian College of Art Science and Technology was in the savannah, very close to Kano, and from Kano you're really moving into the Sahel, which is the desert.
Yeah.
So now when at Zaria we had teachers, mainly British teachers. We only had one African teacher.
Yeah.
Clara Bodega, that's what. The only African, but all the other ones were
British.
were Europeans. They fly into Kano, and from Kano, they take the motorway to Zaria there. So they don't even know anything about Nigeria.
Yeah.
And so what they were teaching us was the kind of stream of studies from London University or Goldsmith College or all that. And so, but when we came in, that is the members of the Zaria Art Society and some other students, we were expecting that something will come out from these teachers that will tell us about our background, the folklore, the history of the people, and the art of our people, and how that art can really enlarge our personality as others. We didn't get that at all. But we didn't rebel against anything at all. What we did was to go into our background, we told ourselves, well, take what you can from these teachers, but now go into yourself and develop what you think is good for you to make the art you are studying benefit your society. So that was what we did. During our quiet time and during holidays, we will create something of our own, something we think that help us to express the idea of our culture, what our people have gained, what we're losing, and so on and so on, and then put them together. And that was how we're doing. Some of us we exhibit our artwork during the holidays.
Yeah.
My first exhibition in Ugele in 1959 was such. I left the school during the holidays, created some work and so on, and exhibited. This was in an elementary school classroom. I exhibited there, and the late Agori Iwe was the one who was the chief president when he opened the exhibition. So that gave me some kind of confidence. So we're doing what we can do on our own to educate ourselves, to bring out in the forefront what we think can benefit and raise our society. And that was the message of Design Art Society. Well, Uche Okeke coined it, roped it around what he described as a natural synthesis.
Yeah.
The natural synthesis is actually that the past, the present, and the future are simultaneous, rather than distinctive or separated.
Yeah.
It's because what you've done yesterday, what you've done in the time past, becomes a step to which you can move into the present.
Yeah.
And what you're doing at this present time, it will be used in the future. It's going to help you to build a future, a hopeful future. So the past, present, and the past, present, and future are simultaneous, very simultaneous. So that's what the message is.
Okay.
Simultaneous. So they're not separated. And of course, that in itself agrees with the Mexican philosopher's theory. So that is what we'll be doing.
Okay, thank you very much. Just my penultimate question will be around, when you talk of past, present, will be about how you drew inspiration from Urhobo folklore, Urhobo history, Urhobo stories, and brought that into your art, and also brought that into your art going forward in your career, and maybe the lessons from that also going global. So maybe the theme for me will be the presentation where gods and mortal meet. And I thought why that was important, or how Urhobo inspiration came into that, and just talking about Urhobo art and the significance of that. So that was one. The second one I was going to ask afterwards was around using materials. I noticed you. Yeah, I'll start with that one first.
I think we should take this in one by one.
Okay.
The first part of it is what is that.
The inspiration from Urhobo art.
Yes,
and
Urhobo
folklore.
art and culture. Yeah, we'll talk about that. The inspiration. The Urhobo people have a way of looking at life, and this has been deeply embedded in the way they live, the way the Urhobo people live. But most importantly, it's embedded in the language. What they say, the things we call Odova, self-given names, the thing we call Odeli, the name you were given when you were present, and then ideas we call Asia tales and so on, Asia and so on. So those things were there. Our people are first. You can talk about them. You can talk about them and use them.
Yeah.
But you mentioned this, you mentioned that, but they are very imaginative. A child that is born or is growing up, and you mention these things, yes, they will have some kind of ideas, but how do they visualize and see and touch the things or arrange the things in their mind in such a way that they will never forget? The best way to do it is to do it through the art.
Yeah.
So my art actually helps to bring those stories,
Yeah.
those ideologies, those things into visual that everyone can see and understand. There's a book in our library there that says Bruce Onobrakpeya, the storyteller of Agbaruta. So how the stories, folklore, legends, myth, and so on have been given bodies, have been given vision, a kind of vision that can make someone growing up, someone who is born here or someone who didn't stay here,
Yeah.
see what these stories are talking about.
Yeah.
The tortoise,
Yeah.
other animals, like Jenapo, those concepts, bring them out in visual form so that people can see them.
Akpakpasimaga.
So Akpakpasimaga, that can bite you,
Yeah.
it can bite both with the head and the tail. The tail and so on and so forth. And then also how the Urobo man show his personality. Now there's this important thing that people don't know it very much, but I try to express them in my art. What we call Odova. Odova is a self-given name.
Yeah.
And if you are an Urobo person and there's a gathering of about 7, 15, 20 people, and you are there and something is going to be presented, they will surely mention your Odova.
Yeah.
If they don't mention your Odova, then they are
Disrespecting.
disrespecting you. They mention Okribubule, Oshaleyana, they mention. Sometimes they are very humorous, but those things are based on the belief, on the thought, on the personal experiences of those people. They're usually great wisdom.
Yeah.
They're humorous, and you can laugh at them and so on, but they create something a message that other people take away that they probably didn't know and recognize before. So that is it. So my attempt is to bring in those things in order to make clearer, in order to tell clearer the story of the Urobo man. But when I say the story of the Urobo man, I want to emphasize the fact that the culture, the ethnic culture, and so on, all over Nigeria,
Yeah.
there's such great similarity that when you are talking about the culture of the Urobo people,
Yeah.
you are also mentioning the culture of the Benin people,
Yeah.
the Yoruba people,
Yeah.
and the Igbo people.
Yeah.
And in fact, going back to the Middle Belt, the Tiv, and so on, you're mentioning them. So you see, when you're talking about the culture of Agbara people, instinctively, you are talking about the culture of the people from there.
Yeah.
So when people say that, I just talk about the Urobo people, I just laugh. I say, I don't talk only about the Urobo people. My art talk about every other section of the country. Hausa people, Fulani people. I have done stories for books, novels, and so on, from the north, from the east, and so on. I've illustrated Chinua Achebe's books. I've
Yeah.
read and illustrated the Cyprian books based in the north, and so on, and the Benin area, and Urobo novels, and all that kind of thing. I've worked with people like J.P. Clark, and
Yeah.
so that is what my art is about.
Yeah.
To be able to bring body to the vision of the Urobo person. To be able to show that this is what you call this.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not very literary. You don't see it like something that is just shows it like a photograph and so on.
Yeah.
But it can be very imaginary, but it gives you idea of what that thing is. That is what I am doing.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Right.
Maybe one of my final questions would be around the culture, the storytelling, and confidence using the stations of the cross.
Yes.
The one the 14 stations of the cross you did, where you showed the different stations of the cross.
Yes.
And represented it in different culture, Ghana, Kente, Yoruba outfits, Hausa outfits as well, showing it. And why was that important for identity and confidence?
Well, I Christ. People tend to think that Christ was preaching religion. But what Christ was doing was preaching the story of life. Christ grew up in the Jewish society. And if you want to follow the Jewish experience, you talk to the Roman man or talk to a person from the desert, the correct person as well, they will not understand. Yeah. So take the essence of the message of Christ and interpret it with the local symbols. That's what I did. And in illustrating the stations of the cross, I took several examples from the culture within the West Africa. Like you mentioned, the Ghanaian, Kente, the Robo man, Simon of Cyrene, actually had a cap like, dressed like a Robo person, a shirt and a cloth that starts like this. And you pick those characters. Now, I tell people, I said, look, Christ talked about put the anchor and the water to guide the boat from floating away. Someone in the middle of the desert, what does he know about an anchor? He doesn't know anything about an anchor. So to make that image clear to the person in the desert, you would say, pin that pin, knock that pin down to hold the tent.
Yes.
Because the pin holds the tent and keeps it from the wind, and you can build a house around it. The anchor will hold the boat in one place, and then you can do whatever you want to do around it. So it is that interpretation, that understanding, rather than make the Bible story a Jewish thing, and you have to understand the Jewish concept or Jewish way of life before you can understand it. We said, no, bring this thing home. What's equivalent to that thing that Christ was talking about? Bring it here, and it will be clearly understood ready understood
The local context.
in the local context. And that was what I did. Now, when I painted those things in the church in Ebutement and so on, the laity, many of them, just the traditional Yoruba people, some of whom had come from Brazil and so on, some from Bekuta and so on, they didn't like it at all. They said the Catholic people had abused them, had insulted them, and they brought in other artworks, the sculptures by people like Idehan people, or brought them in. That they brought juju into their church and so on and so on. So it wasn't. It took the effort of Okoje, who was the bishop at that time, to say, leave those things there. And so my paintings and some of those artworks remained in the church for about 50 years. Then there was a pronouncement in Rome that any pastor who is in a particular church, rural or town or something like that, can change whatever artwork that they found there. And that was the opportunity one Igbo man took and then cleared all those things from the church. I don't know where they are today. But the curators of the High Museum in Atlanta saw that that thing that was done actually improved the black man personality.
Yeah.
To have the boldness to bring in your own culture, to interpret a religion which comes from outside. They thought that that was a great thing. And so they exhibited me in the High Museum. Now, one thing great that happened from that was that Washington, D.C., the Smithsonian Institution, called for that exhibition to come to Washington, D.C. That had never happened in any show in America. One show traveling from one place. Of course, yes, where Ghost and Bottle Meet actually traveled from Washington, D.C. to Columbia in North Carolina or South Carolina. And so on. That was but mine was the second one that traveled like that. So that was it. Use our local symbols to interpret the message of Christ. The message of Christ is about life. About life. It taught people how to live and live very well. And that message of Christ is not anchored only on the Jewish life pattern. It is found in the life of the people outside the Jewish land. And so for me, being in the Nigerian setup, I found that images which can best illustrate that kind of life, I put them down in my painting. And that was how that happened.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Maybe my final question. Okay, you've lived through pre-independence.
Yes.
Nigeria's independence, and you witnessed throughout that period Africa's struggle and triumphs, and spent 7 decades creating art that celebrates our identity.
Yes.
As you look at Africa today, what are the things that give you hope and you almost want to leave for the future generation for an African renaissance in the future? And how can Africa claim its place of that global prominence in the future, the next 50 years, next 100 years?
Yes, okay. A simple, we believe in that future. Like the Nigerian College was built and it took care of us. We grew, we understood who we were, and took our place. There, our rector at that time was saying that they were training us as future leaders of Nigeria. But we didn't quite understand. Oh, future leaders. I mean, are you training everybody to become the president or to be a senator or to be this? But leadership can be in any field. You can be in politics and be a leader and possibly become the president someday. But you can be in education, and rise to become the principal of a university. You are a leader. You can be the head of a church and lead people with some message of hope. You are a leader. You can be a village head, and you can lead your people, give them good concepts, and they live good life. You can be a counselor, and all this you can be. So that was that was the thing that we got from the art school at Zaria. And for me, that is the main message that I want to transmit to the future. And so I built this place to put together the people who are educated and people who are not educated. Coming down here to have the workshop, we don't have any entrance examination, just that you're interested in doing art. You may be a dropout from the school. You may never have gone to the art school at all. People, women with children on their back, and so on, they all come to do art here. So my hope, build a place like this, and keep it open to train people, to make them, to give them confidence, to move to the present, from the present to the future. That is my hope, and that is my dream, and that's what this place is all about.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Very final one. At
Yes,
93,
yeah,
you're still creating and mentoring. What's the at 93 you're going to be 94 next week.
Yes.
What keeps you restless, or what do you still want to do? What are you still striving for? We started off on how you were innovative and restless. What do you still want? What is still your final big thing you want to really achieve?
Well, there's such that is final.
Not final.
You keep living.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Until you don't know what happens from there. It's not for you to say that at this time I'm not doing. No, God created one. God is that's his God thing. So in my scheme of things, I don't even think of that end. I keep walking. There's as a grown-up child, as a grown-up boy, we have dreams, we have things that keep us going, and so on and so on. As school children, we have that. As early manhood, we had that. As people mature enough to do this, we have that. As the time to create something, we created this and so on. And at this time too, we're able to bring people in. So in our life, there are these steps you want to take. You grow from one place to the other. And the growth continues until, well, people die, but that is, the death is insignificant. But as you live and you enjoy what you do, and what you do gives you joy. It gives you joy. When you wake up in the morning, you want to do it, and you practically live forever.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on this incredible conversation on the African Renaissance series. We've had the lifetime pleasure of being with a living legend, Dr. Bruce Onobrakpeya, and stick with us and learn from this, and let this be a source of inspiration for greater works, greater successes. And I'll leave you with this: the best is yet to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jambo, Jambo,